Answering 85,000 questions about every single place I lived since birth? Check. Remembering every single job I ever had? Check. Would they judge me for that one time I jaywalked? Possibly. Are they gonna find out about that library book that I took and never returned? Only time will tell. There was that one time that I took 2 samples at Costco. That doesn't count as a crime, isn't it? No, that's a crime. Hi there, it's Anna. Welcome to my channel. That's where we unpack the dream of Canadian living. As someone who travels to United States 4 to 6 times a year, I definitely like to make this experience more enjoyable. And the first thing that I see every single time when I arrive to the airport or to the land border crossing is the long lines of people who is trying to do exactly the same thing. And of course, I'm trying to avoid this. It gets really frustrating, it gets really stressful, it can potentially delay you, and you may miss your flight. So if you're a frequent traveler between United States and Canada, you might potentially benefit from applying for a NEXUS card. So what is NEXUS? NEXUS is a program that provides expedited travel times for all of the trusted travelers between United States and Canada. Of course, once your application is approved and you get your card, you can enjoy all of the benefits, whether you're crossing by land, by sea, or by air. So what are the actual benefits? So you're going to get designated lanes during the land border crossings. You're going to get separate check-in points at the airport, as well as priority handling at the sea border crossing. Upon arrival to Canada, you can use NEXUS automated kiosks, and the beauty of it, you don't even have to interact with the customs officer. So everything is automated from the moment you step off the plane until you get through the security. And when you're flying other way around from Canada to United States, the cool thing is that you're already approved for the global entry, so you'll get to use the benefits of the automated system there as well. Your NEXUS program number also is going to be your trusted traveler number for TSA pre-check-in, as well as while you're booking your flight for the frequent flyer program. If you've been enjoying this video so far, give it thumbs up, and of course subscribe to my channel. Now let's talk about the cost. With NEXUS program, you do get the benefits of both programs, the global entry as well as the TSA pre-check. About a year ago when I applied, I paid $50 US. That was mid-January last year, 2024. Currently, if you head to the website, you will notice that the price went up to $120 US, and it's currently on par with the global entry, which is also at $120 US, and TSA pre-check, which still stands at $78 US. This program is available for both USA and Canadian citizens, as well as the permanent residents. However, if you're a permanent resident, you can only apply once you've been a permanent resident for over 3 years. If you have any children that you would like to apply for, the application will be free, and yourself, you don't need to have a NEXUS card in order to apply for your children if they do intend to travel frequently. Other than that, you have to follow general rules during your entry, like not having any immigration or customs violations, of course being truthful during your application process, and not having any prior convictions or criminal offenses in any country that you currently didn't receive a pardon for. So how do you get a NEXUS card? It's actually quite easy. You head online to the TTP website. You create an application, you fill out all of the information about yourself, your date of birth, your name, your address, where you worked, where you traveled, and another 85,000 questions. And then you just pay $120 nowadays, and you wait. So just around the timeline, I waited about 9 months. It could vary anywhere between 3 to 9 months. I applied in January 2024. I got a positive answer back in October 2024, so 9 months over there. And then you'll get a choice to schedule an interview in one of the enrollment centers. There's currently 10 locations in Canada where you can do that. There's 8 airports, you will see them all the way here, as well as 2 border crossings where you can do the same thing again. Once you choose the method that you're gonna apply with, you can exchange afterwards. Meaning, so if you did your first interview within Canada at the airport, you cannot do it at the border crossing, at land crossing, and other way around. Once you chose to visit the land, you have to proceed with the land and typically do it all at the same time. All right, you booked all of your interviews. There's two of them, one on the Canadian side, another one is on the USA side, or, well, it's technically still done in Canada. But what do you need to bring on the first interview? Well, first of all is the proof of citizenship. It could be a passport, it could be your certificate of citizenship, it could be your certificate of birth. Any one of those will work. Of course, your proof of residency, it could be a driver license or ID card, and anything related to the secondary passports, any type of citizenships, you need to bring it with you as well. This will be checked. The entire interview will take about 15 minutes. They will ask very straightforward questions, and the interview number one is very, very painless. Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious. Before we go any further to the interview questions, let's talk about behavior with the officer during your interview. So when you're being asked a question, try to provide very short yes or no answers without any additional details that might potentially lead to misunderstanding or any type of gray area questions. For example, if officer asks, have you traveled to the United States before? The simple answer is yes or no. Do not go into the tangent of, hey, I've been to the USA, I really liked it, I love this, I love that. That potentially might open up additional questions by the officer and create a suspicion in terms of your intentions to immigrate to the country, which is not necessarily your intentions right this second. Another piece of advice is try to act natural. Look directly at the officer, do not fidget, as you might appear very suspicious, like you're trying to hide something, and it might potentially lead to some additional questions. Another thing is, do not suddenly take out anything out of your pockets or start fidgeting or trying to grab something outside of your bag. Once again, can create potential threats towards the officer, and your interview might potentially go the wrong way. All right, now since we have that out of the way, let's talk about the questions itself. The first interview questions are typically very easy ones. Once you show up at the location, you speak to the officer, and they proceed with what's your name, what's your date of birth, what's your address of residency. The second question could be, why do you need a NEXUS card? And you just simply state that whatever your situation is, right? You like to travel, you frequently travel for business purposes, or you have relatives in the United States. Either one of the answers is acceptable. They might proceed with the questions about your second citizenship, like in my case, and I had to present my second passport. I also had to confirm my second mailing address in that case, and that was it. The entire interview didn't took more than 15 years, and that's including the wait times, and it was completely painless. So unlike the first interview, your second interview, you don't have to book. You can do it next time when you fly to the United States, typically prior to the security points. So when you walk in, they will ask you exactly the same questions: date of birth, address of residency, any type of citizenships. They most likely will ask you about your employment, provide very simple answers. So if you ask you, what do you do for work? You can say, I'm a teacher, I'm a salesperson, I'm whatever. Do not go on a tangent about your job and proficiency. As one of the users stated on Reddit, I believe, he mentioned that officer asked him whether he was working for the USA company, and he answered yes. And then he asked him whether he was paid by the USA company, and the user also answered yes. And officer determined that unfortunately he was working illegally for United States company for the last little while. Thus, the user was banned from entering the United States for the next 5 years. So be very careful how you answer about your job and role and responsibilities. Very simple answers, yes or no, very general. Do not go on a tangent about any other things that you do. Some users on Reddit also mentioned that they received questions about their recent travel experiences, especially to currently unfriendly countries towards the United States, typically Middle East, I didn't get any of those questions. My recent travel history didn't really change in a year. I mostly traveled to United States and Dominican Republic, so I didn't get any of those questions. They took my picture afterwards. They did take my fingerprints, and that was it. Keep in mind, when officers asking you any types of questions, they already have access to your background check information as well as your application, so they know what the right answer is, and they just simply looking for the confirmation. So please be truthful. If your application taking longer than several months to approve, a lot of times they will ask you a question of whether anything changed since the moment you applied. So if it's been a long time and you changed career, you changed your address, you changed what you do, where you do, and where you went, you most likely want to tell the officer right then and there, and obviously have some type of confirmation with the dates being available in order for the officer to proceed with your application. This was an overview of common questions that you might get during the NEXUS interview. Of course, every single case is unique, and depending on your situation, you might get a different set of questions. That being said, if you've been asked very interesting questions during your interview, please share in the comments below, or if you have any additional questions regarding the process, please post it down the section below, and I will get back to you very, very shortly. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to click a like button to help this channel with algorithm, and of course subscribe to hear more about life in Canada.